Good morning, friends. Did you see all that snow out there? Not very spring-like today, is it? I hope you're still having fun and get some time to be outside. I have another book for you today. This is from one of my favorite series called The Ordinary People Change the World. And these are the I Am books that are about some real people from history who did some really cool stuff. So today we're going to read I Am Amelia Earhart. So let's zip it, lock it, put it in your pocket. Don't have a pocket? Throw it away. I am Amelia Earhart. When I was little, people told me that girls should wear dresses and play with dolls. They said we shouldn't have unladylike adventures. I didn't agree. In fact, when I was 7 years old, my sister and I decided to build our own roller coaster in our backyard. We placed 2 planks of wood up against the side of our tool shed. The cab was a wooden packing box with roller skate wheels attached to the bottom. We greased the wood with lard so we'd move super fast. Grandma's not gonna like this. Amelia, are you sure this is a good idea? This isn't a good idea. It's the best idea. Of course, I got to ride first. This was my moment. Here we go in 3, 2. I still remember the wind in my face. My stomach seemed to sink. I was flying. The crash was loud and noisy and messy. It certainly wasn't ladylike, but it was awesome. Amelia Earhart, take it apart this instant. That was awesome. It wasn't the last time I would fly. As I got older, I went to many air shows. When I was 23 years old, but still a kid at heart, my dad took me to meet Frank Hawks, a man who would eventually set many of his own flight records. For $10, Hawks agreed to take me on my very first flight. You ready? I'm ready. For 10 minutes, we flew through the sky and out over the Pacific Ocean. By the time I was 200 or 300 feet off the ground, I knew one thing. I had to fly. To save for my flying lessons, I worked as a truck driver, which wasn't ladylike either. Move it, Mac. A stenographer, which is a fancy schmancy word for someone who writes down what people say. And even a photographer. Say snook. Six months after I learned to fly, I bought a bright yellow used biplane that I named Canary. Canary's a cool name for a plane, right? This is my instructor, a woman named Netta Snook. That's her real name. But here's my secret. I was not a natural. I was not the best pilot. I just worked harder than anyone else. That's enough flying for today. No, I can do better. One more flight. Most important, like that day on the roller coaster, I dared to do what so many said could not be done. A girl flying across the Atlantic? Amelia, you sure this is a good idea? This isn't a good idea. It's the best idea. I became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean, and then the first woman to fly by myself across the Atlantic. Back then, people took boats to get to Europe, sailing for weeks. Planes were still a new thing. In fact, on the day I took off, one magazine ran an article that said women would never be able to fly that far. but I did. To do it, I had to fly for 14 hours and 56 minutes with no rest and no break. Sometimes the sun was so blinding, I could barely see where I was going. In the process, I also broke the record for crossing the ocean in the shortest time, doing it faster than any man or woman ever. This is awesome! Then I broke an altitude record, which is just a fancy schmancy way of saying I went higher than anyone else. How high did I go? About 12 Empire State Buildings straight up, at the time when no woman had ever gone that high. In my life, I took many flights. Every single time, there was someone who said that I would not be able to do it. Never let anyone stop you. Whatever your dream is, chase it. Work hard for it. You will find it. It is the best lesson I can give you. I am Amelia Earhart. I know no bounds, and I hope you'll remember that the greatest flight you'll ever take is the one no one has ever tried before. Here's what Amelia Earhart looks like in real life. The end. All right, friends, today's challenge, I'd like you to have Mom and Dad help you write to me, what is your dream? What do you want to do when you grow up? It can be anything that you can imagine. Have a good day, friends.